Hey everybody, what's going on? This is your broadcaster, Master Cloud, and I am back for another cast of the Lord of the Rings, the Battle for Middle-earth 2, the Rise of the Witch King of Angmar. Today's matchup is going to be another 1 versus 1 on the Fords of Isen, one of the most popular pro 1v1 maps in the map pool. Spawning in the upper left-hand side as Men of the West is going to be Mauhur. This is game 2 between Mauhur and, of course, in the lower right-hand side, his opponent, Andy, who is once again spawning as Isengard. So we do have the fixed races for both of these players. Both of them must play their respective races until the winner of a best-of-3 is determined. Now, it looks like Mauhur here, actually going for a very early barracks, is going to be throwing out a couple of early Gondor soldiers. Remember, guys, this is part of that very recent tournament put on by GameReplays.org. The tournament was actually held on Sunday, February 22nd, and all the games were actually played that day. So these players, only the beginning stages of the tournament, as this is still round 1. We will be seeing who will proceed on to round 2. Already waiting in round 2 is going to be the player Megrim, from one of those earlier casts that I did do. If you guys haven't checked that out, definitely recommend that game between Megrim and Bushead. A very interesting game. But Mauhur here trying to join Megrim in that final bracket, as he will be sending a unit of Gondor soldiers across the field very early on, as he has, if you guys haven't checked out that earlier game 1 between these two players, I will go ahead and spoil the ending to that game right now. And as the victor of that game was indeed Mauhur, winning at the very end with that last unit of Coda. A pretty dramatic finish, I would say, considering all that had happened throughout the game. It just came down to that one unit of Coda. But Mauhur, winning the first game, would like to add on an additional win at this point to go ahead and pick up the advancement spot that is open and secure himself in that final bracket. This unit of Gondor soldiers will fall to the Uruk-hai, but this secondary unit of Gondor soldiers running around the backside now has already forced the cancel of one of the furnaces. And this second furnace here now also in a little bit of trouble, as these Gondor soldiers are beginning to close in. This unit of Uruk-hai much more powerful than this basic unit of Gondor soldiers, and we'll be able to take them out quite easily. But they are actually going to find a nice spot on the side of the furnace here. We'll be able to get some good damage done. Mauhur does throw those Gondor soldiers on the aggressive stance in order to help deal as much damage as quickly as possible to that furnace. The primary group of Gondor soldiers has been destroyed, and the secondary group going to fall as well. I don't think that they're actually going to have a chance to take out this furnace. Actually, a last couple of units, one left, will fall, and the furnace does remain, so a good save there by Andy. A unit of Uruk crossbowmen out now as well, and Andy, despite losing a couple of furnaces here in the early beginning, or at least a single furnace, and taking some damage, is actually doing okay because he has maintained all of his units here. He hasn't lost a single unit yet. This Uruk-hai unit actually up to level 2 at this point, and will intercept a third unit of Gondor soldiers. So already Mauhur down 3 units of Gondor soldiers, and Andy down 0 units, just the one furnace that he had to cancel there, but he did recover most of those resources. Mauhur here using those extra forces out on the field at this point to go ahead and pick up some extra gold around the map. So even though Mauhur has lost some of his units here, he is definitely very aware of that and beginning to take map control, and actually has purchased or rather built stables and then purchased from that the Gondor Knights, which of course will be extremely effective against every single unit that Andy has on the field right now. Mauhur doing an interesting strategy here of leading his opponent down a particular path and then building the exact counter to that path. Does he have additional horsemen on the way? As of now, not quite yet. However, these Gondor Knights, set in aggressive stance, will begin to mow down these troops. And wow, one charge takes out an entire unit of Uruk-hai. Seems a little ridiculous, but here comes a second unit of Uruk-hai. They are chasing down these spearmen, but the Gondor Knights will easily be able to charge through them and deal a significant amount of damage. Remember, this is the level 2, so they do have some slightly increased stats here. We'll be able to survive the initial charge and begin to engage these horsemen. But I think that the Gondor Knights are actually going to be able to deal too much damage here. And the level 2 Uruk-hai will indeed fall. These Gondor Knights now up to almost level 2. That'll be great as soon as they get to level 1. Andy going for that counter, finally getting out some Uruk pikemen, has the one group out. Actually has 2 groups out at this point, realizing that all of his forces are vulnerable to a large attack from those Gondor Knights. Do we actually have more on the way, or is he just going to be sticking to the one for now? just the one and increased, I guess, soldier production at this point. Doesn't have any queued up, but might be actually saving up for a hero. Let's take a look at his income. Mauhur sitting around 600 now. Could be saving up. Andy also around 600, potentially thinking about getting Lurtz out to help deal with some of these weaker units here, as well as shoot down the horsemen from afar. These units all moving into the front. There isn't actually any units here to protect them. And additional units of pikemen are going to come out, but they can't really do much against the Gondor soldiers. They will fall very quickly to those units as they are not strong against them. And Andy's units caught a little bit off guard here. He's going to lose a significant amount of his forward infrastructure. These Gondor soldiers and knights dealing terrible damage to these structures. He's going to lose this for sure. Will lose all of the archers as well, as they do get chased down. These are level 2 archers. He does not want to lose these. One does survive just barely, although that's going to take a long time for him to rebuild. These Gondor soldiers actually in range of the fortress here, taking extreme damage from that, but also dealing extreme damage to these pikemen, which are very weak against the Gondor soldiers. In the back, the knights take out an additional furnace. Andy here starting to hunger a little bit for resources, while on the opposite side of the map, additional Gondor units have been built. We now have an archery range coming up as well. More Gondor soldiers on the way, and the attack is going to continue here from Mauhur as he attempts to keep on the pressure. A clan steading is going down from our Isengard player Andy, but I'm not sure that that's the right call at this point in the game, considering how expensive this investment is and how weak the units produced from it are. They are harassment units, and he's obviously going to get those out to deal with some of the farms around the map by Mauhur. But however, with those Gondor knights on the field, and now an upgraded stables is on the way, level 2 stables, so Rohirrim will be out on the field. Those wildmen will not be able to deal the damage they need to do. And even if they can, they will easily get trampled down by those horsemen. So for this, at this point in time, these wildmen, even though a very cheap unit to produce, might not be the right way to go if he cannot get them secured behind some decent pikemen, as they will be very easy targets for any sort of horseman that Mauhur decides to throw out against them. This unit of pikemen going in, aiming for a farm here. They are going to die to this unit, level 1 unit of Gondor soldiers, though. If they can get the farm, it might be an okay pickup for Andy, and it looks like he will barely manage to. Actually, he might not get the farm. He's losing. He only has 2 units left there. With the last poke, though, I think the farm does indeed go down, and the level actually 3 Orc pikemen now will go ahead and fall to those remaining Gondor soldiers. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, several units encountering a little bit of a war pit there. The furnace as well will fall. Arrow drop goes down. These archers need to diversify, or not diversify, but run. Scatter is the word I was trying to use there, but they do not manage to move in time, and all of those archers will fall. An additional unit of pikemen showing up. They need to turn around right now. This pikeman will get absolutely obliterated by these units of Gondor soldiers. And Andy not paying attention here, focusing across the map instead on some of the wildmen that he's sent to deal that additional damage while stealing those resources. This farm may go down, but he's going to lose the unit of wildmen. Still, I think a good investment, but he's lost the unit of Orc pikemen along the front side of the map as well. And Mauhur taking a pretty commanding lead in this game, seeing as how many units he has around the map. He's losing a couple of farms here and there, but he's also dealing damage. Now has a unit of Coda out as well, has gone for that level 3 stables, and a second unit of Coda now on the way. Instead of going for heroes, going for these powerful basic units, or rather specialized units, I should say, which of course are the Knights of Dol Amroth, incredible damage dealers and very swift. As we've seen in several games recently, they have played a critical role in determining the outcome of the game, as they have just been completely uncatchable and unbeatable in terms of a fight, especially when controlled correctly. Lurtz is going to be the choice now for Isengard. Needs to protect Lurtz, keep those pikemen near him at all time, as Lurtz will get very quickly taken out by those Knights of Dol Amroth if they get anywhere near close. A second unit now moving across the field. A couple of pikemen are in here, but there's not nearly enough to stop the cavalry charge that took place there. And these pikemen continuing to chase down the knights, but these Gondor soldiers are hot on their tails. A couple units of wildmen are not really going to be enough. And these knights now up to level 3. Lurtz taking significant damage there. About a half a level. Needs to grab some additional levels if he wants to start doing the damage that Andy needs him to do. Here comes a summon. It might be is this going to be a Hobbit summon? I would imagine. Yes, it is. And these troops are certainly in a lot of trouble. Lurtz is in the middle of this too. Will get very quickly taken down by the Hobbits if they choose to focus him. So it is going to have to be a retreat strategy that is going to be employed here. All of these units in the lower side, and Andy just goes ahead and GG's out of the game, realizing that he has no way to deal with the Knights. And guys, I know that was a very short game, but Mauhur there taking a convincing win and going ahead and moving on to the second round of the tournament. Guys, once again, stay tuned. If you haven't checked out that tournament bracket, you can do so in the description down below, as well as checking out that first game that I cast between Busset and Megrim. I will be posting the tournament bracket, the updated tournament bracket, in my next cast, so definitely stay tuned for that. Should be coming out soon. I hope you guys enjoyed. Master Cloud signing out.